then I'm on your girl's butt. I'm like, what? Henny in my cup. Of course I start from brand, I don't really have enough, yeah.
What is up, guys? It's your boy MyRandom Life 24/7, and today I'm going to show you how to install a light bar on any vehicle, for that matter of fact. Now, there are some things that will be applicable to only certain vehicles. This tutorial is going to be done on my car, which is a 2007 Holden VZ Commodore Ute. So to install your light bar, you're going to need some things. Firstly, something to mount your light bar on. This is going to vary from vehicle to vehicle. I don't have a bull bar as standard, so I just got a number plate mounting bracket. So it just mounts through the holes that the number plate goes through. You're going to need an LED light bar. Now, I've chosen this particular one due to the high amount of light output and the fact that it has adjustable mounting. You can slide these either way, and then you can also move them up and down to adjust the tilt of your light bar. And then you'll also need a light bar wiring harness. Now, I'll go through that in detail in a little bit, but I do want to give a big shout out to vicoffroad.com.au, who actually gave me a really good deal on these components. So I bought the mounting bracket, the light bar, and the harness from them. Their social media links are in the description. In the meantime, they've actually also been kind enough to give everyone 10% off their website for a month by using the coupon code MRL247. So definitely go and check them out. So now I'm going to move on to the actual wiring side of things, because that's a little bit more complicated, but I'm just going to break it down and just explain to you how the actual wiring works. So now we're going to go into a little bit more detail about the wiring. Funnily enough, you don't actually need a driving light wiring harness. If you actually go to the video where I talked about installing a USB charger, it's pretty much the same procedure as that, but your 12 volt trigger changes from your number plate light to your high beam, and you have to install a switch in line. Basically, I'm using a driving light wiring harness because, one, it takes less time, you're not cutting into wiring and potentially damaging any wiring, and also it makes it easier to remove if you want to swap your light bar onto a different vehicle. One of the first things you're going to need is a light harness. So this basically gives a 12 volt signal to your relay to actually trip the circuit and basically allow power from the battery to run through. So this plug is suited for a H4 globe. Now, a lot of cars these days use H4 globes. Basically, it's just a 3-pin connector. This goes into the back of your globe, and then this goes into the back of the existing connector, and then this plug goes into the back of the harness, which I'll show you later. Secondly, you'll need a switch. A lot of Australian states require you to have some form of electrical isolation. Technically, light bars are only supposed to be on when the high beam's on, so the switch was kindly supplied with the kit. Now we move on to the actual wiring from the light bar to the harness. So a lot of these light bars use these kind of plugs. They're called Deutsch plugs, and basically the Deutsch plugs are really high quality plugs, and they have a little gasket on them, help them seal against the weather. This one coolly comes with 2 of them, so if you've got spotlights or something like that, you can run these to it. Then you have this wire that runs to your negative terminal of your battery, and then this plugs onto the other harness, which I'll show you. The last bit of the harness is this. So you've got your 12 volt relay. This is rated at 60 amps. There is also an inline fuse for the line to the positive of the battery terminal. It is a 40 amp fuse, and you get a fuse holder with it as well. It's pretty much all plug and play, guys. Like, that goes to your switch, that goes to your driving light plug, which is this plug here. So that connects in like so, and then this goes to your 12 volt trigger off your headlight, and it's as simple as that. Now, this light bar is a lightweight LBB6, heaps of LEDs in that, you can see. I'll put all the specs on the screen that you guys can see. It's very, very bright. I've already tested it. I'm going to do a night test towards the end of the video. Lucky Max Tactics is going to volunteer for that. He's the guy filming behind the camera. Wave. What's up? So, you know what, enough of talking, let's get to installing. So one of the most difficult parts of this installation, in my opinion, is actually running the wiring through the firewall, because one issue with that is that all cars are different. Now, where you might run the wiring through on one firewall might be different to the other. In total, there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grommets on this car. I didn't really want to use a grommet that the loom or any other wiring that runs through, because that's already been sealed from factory. What I've decided to do is actually use a spare grommet that was on this car. Now, this car is an automatic. On the manual versions of these, there's a little grommet off to the side next to the brake booster. It's up around here. You can probably just see it. That's what the grommet looks like. I'll just put it in front of the camera. So that's what the grommet looks like. We've just cut a star-shaped slit through it so you can run the wiring through. Now we're going to do that. Lucky Max Tactics is going to stay out here, and he's just going to feed the wiring through to me in the cabin. So basically that is the plug from the harness that goes into the switch inside the cabin. Fast forward shit. Alright, so now that we've fed the wiring through to the cabin, that's the headlight switch for the Commodore. So the intention is just to mount the light bar isolation switch here. Now I've run the wiring underneath the little dash trim here, and if I can point it out, see that white plug there? You can probably see it. That's the plug for the light bar. Now I've put it in this wiring tidy thing, which I've used for the wiring for my dash cam, so it's not going to budge from there, and it's not going to get tangled in any pedals. So we'll move on to the next part. Yep. Alright, so we've actually run the wire from the cabin. All we got to do is literally plug and play. So that goes into the back of your headlight globe, that goes into the factory plug, and then this white plug goes into here, simply like that. So now that that's been plugged into the back of the headlight, all we have to do is mount the light bar and then plug it in to the other side of the harness, which is over here, and job done. We have encountered some issues though, which I will point out, because a lot of people don't point out any issues that they might have encountered when they do tutorial vids like this. On Commodores, pretty sure on most cars as well, they come with a little dust cover at the back. Now this dust cover sits on the headlight plug and screws on. Now with all the wire stuff going at the back of it, I can't really put this on, so I'm gonna have to come up with something so I can fit the dust cover over it, or get something to go over the back of the headlight. So I'll show you know what, I'll just show it to you. So if you have a look down there, so that's the headlight globe there, and there's various connectors that are going in there. So there's the piggyback one there that goes into the headlight globe, and then that black one goes into the white OEM factory connector. Now that dust cover is not going to fit over the back, so I might have to cut a hole in it or something, but fortunately I don't have the tools at this stage to do that. So we'll move on to the next part, which is mounting the actual light bar. So the light bar is actually on. They give you pretty much all the fasteners that you need to actually secure it onto the vehicle. They give you standard nuts, spring washers and flat washers. Now we did have to cut a small piece of the grill out, so did have to cut a little bit of the grill out to feed the wiring through. We're pretty much done. The whole thing that makes it easy is the harness, because it literally just allows you to plug and play. So I'm just going to tighten this up, plug it in, and we'll see if it works. So everything's been plugged in, still some of it's apart, like we've got the shroud over here. Just to cut to the chase, we've plugged everything in. Now it's a moment of truth, and let's see if this baby works. Alrighty then guys, that is the install done. I'd like to give a big shout out once again to vicoffroad.com.au. If you want to purchase anything from their website, use my discount code that's kindly been offered by them for 10% off. code is MRL247. The light bar, for what I paid for it, is actually feels really well put together. It doesn't feel like it's cheap at all. Feels very sturdy, really high quality. It's super bright as well. I'm yet to test it out at night. The only thing that seems to have let it down is on some of these seams you can actually see the glue that they've used to seal the caps on the edges. It's a really good light bar. Definitely recommend purchasing one. If you want to get one, I'll post a link down below as to what I purchased, and you guys can definitely check it out. Don't forget 10% off using the discount code MRL247. Alright guys, as mentioned and as promised, here is some nighttime testing of the Lightway light bar that was sent to me by Vic Off-Road. I've got my normal lights on here. Now if I go and put my high beams on, and that's the high beam, this is what it looks like with the light bar on. Pretty pronounced difference. This car has really good high beams in the sense that you can see really far up the road, whereas what the light bar allows you to do is see the edges of the road. So if I'll turn it off again, so you can't really see the edges of the road, you can only see directly ahead. Whereas if I put it on again, there we go, like I can see pretty much the edges of the road. So yeah guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and it's definitely a really good idea to install a light bar, especially if you live in rural areas and you do a lot of nighttime driving. It's really handy. So once again, I'll turn it off, the light bar. If I can find the switch. There we go. See, it's high beams aren't very great for showing the edges of the road, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. In the meantime, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. If you guys want to see what I get up to in my spare time and see any updates on the channel or on my videos, don't forget to check out my social media on Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat. In the meantime guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.